Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, everyone, to the second quiz of the year, the second quiz in dry January. Still on the tea. Nice, soothing mint tea this week. Nice, still a bit hot. What a week, eh? Can you believe the news? The Cleveland Browns have won a playoff game. New teams. We've got, I think, a couple of new teams in this week. Lovely to see. Hello, Dumb and Dumber. First time in. Screaming newborn. Lovely. Shane's back as usual. Good to see. And the Bankoffs. Oh boy. Yeah, a lot of our regular quizzes are in the screaming newborn stage of life. Okay, it looks like some of our competing quizzes know each other. We'll add a nice element of competition. Yeah, bit of a crazy start to 2021. All right, so let's have a look at the rounds we have coming up today. So round one, as usual, we're going to be starting with some general knowledge. We've got round two, menu misnomers. I write this. Why do I choose words that I can't pronounce? Round three, we have famous last words. And on round four, we're going to take a closer look. Round five, something to bear in mind. Round six, gone in a flash. Round seven, seeing stars. And as always, our last round, round eight, is a second helping of general knowledge. How's everyone's start to the year been anyway? Better than what's been on the news, I hope. Hopefully some personal good news when maybe the world news is a bit worrying. Things have been going pretty good here in Trivia Mystery HQ. All right, so because we've got some new teams joining us this evening, I'll just quickly run through how it works. I'm your standard quiz master. I'll be asking you questions, and you'll have on your phones, hopefully by now, opened up the answer forms. And so that's where you enter your answers. There's different types of, so in the different rounds, there'll be different types of answers to give. So some of them will be multiple choice. Some of them you're going to have to type something in or choose a picture. I don't think we have any this week, but sometimes you have to draw or like match things together. It depends on what rounds we have each week. Each round, your answers are not locked in until you hit submit. So if you're not sure of something as I ask the question, you can leave it, go and do the rest of the round, and go back and change your answers or enter an answer. As long as you don't hit submit at the end, you've got a minute to think about things at the end of each round. So yeah, hopefully, I think we are waiting on a couple of the teams who have signed up to get in. So if you're on the stream, if you're one of the new teams, make sure that you've submitted your team name and gotten yourself in the books before we begin. But I think everyone's in now. I think everyone has got themselves into the scoreboard. So we may as well get straight into it. Round one, general knowledge. Okay, so first question is, which of these terms is not a victim of genericide? Genericide is the process by which trademarks lose their legal protections after becoming generic terms. So think aspirin. Used to be a trademark. Now it can't be used as a trademark because everyone uses it as the generic name for that drug. So which of these four things is not a victim of genericide? Is it heroin, Photoshop, escalator, or dry ice? So two schools of thought here. You're either looking for one that you think has not become generic or one that you think was never a trademark. It's kind of two directions you can go in your guesses here. Or it could well be the case that you're not guessing and you know full well what the answer is. Question 2. Which of these four animals does not mate for life? Is it the puffin, the beaver, the elephant, or the coyote? So 3 of these animals mate for life. One of them does not. So I'm looking for the species which does not mate for life. Question 3. Where do loofahs come from? You might use them in the shower or in the kitchen. Where do loofahs come from? Is it sea sponges, courgettes, that's zucchinis for our American viewers, tumbleweed, or cuttlefish, like squid? So sea sponges, courgettes / zucchinis, tumbleweed, or cuttlefish. And question 4. The recently premiered Danish children's program John Dillermand is about a man in an old-timey bathing costume who has an extremely long nose, beard, memory, or penis. So which of those is extremely long for John Dillermand? So it's a Danish kids TV show which just came out. And finally, last question in this round, question 5. Which state does not border the Four Corners Monument in the US? So that's the only location where 4 US states meet. So is it Wyoming, Utah, Colorado, or New Mexico? So which of those 4 states does not border the Four Corners Monument? So in case we have any teams joining us late, or just in case anyone didn't catch any of those, I'm going to run through the questions in this round once more. All right, so question 1 was, of the 4 terms there, which is not a victim of genericide? So that, once again, is the process by which trademarks lose their legal protections after becoming generic terms. Question 2 was, which of those 4 animals does not mate for life? Question 3, where do loofahs come from? Question 4, the recently premiered Danish children's program John Dillermand is about a man in an old-timey bathing costume who has an extremely long what? And question 5, which state does not border the Four Corners Monument, the only location where 4 US states meet? All right, so take a minute or 2 to think about those. Hit submit once you've got them all in. and we'll see how things stand after the first round. Is anyone in the stream who needs anything repeated from that first round? So we do have some Americans in. But how much of an advantage is it to have an American geography question in there? And do remember to hit submit once you do have all those answers in. So I think everyone's in very quickly. Fantastic. Well, I guess we'll run it through the answers and see how the scores stand. So, answer number 1. Heroin was originally a trademark under which Bayer sold diamorphine. Escalator was a trademark belonging to Otis for their moving staircases. And dry ice was a trademark of the Dry Ice Corporation for selling frozen carbon dioxide. But all three are now genericized. Adobe's trademark on Photoshop is still enforceable, although its popular use as a verb puts it in danger of becoming genericized in the future. So the correct answer is Photoshop. Photoshop is still an enforceable trademark, and you'll see sometimes they put out these notices telling people like, please stop saying you photoshopped this. Say you edited the image using Adobe Photoshop. Because if people keep saying using Photoshop like as a verb, then they could lose the trademark. Okay, yeah. If you hit submit twice, we'll usually just take the first one. All right. Question 2. Puffins spend half their lives at sea, but nest and mate with the same partners each nesting season. Mating, nesting. Beavers build lifelong homes with their bonded partners. They build, dams and sets. And genetic profiling actually shows that European beavers are less likely to cheat on their partners than their North American cousins. Coyotes are also loyal to their life partners. However, it's adult male elephants. They tend to live away from herds of females and calves. So that makes mating for life impossible. Question 3. Loofahs are the woody skeleton of the loofah, also known as the sponge cucumber or dish rag gourd. So they're closely related to courgettes and cucumbers. They can be eaten when they're still young and small, but as they get bigger, they become very fibrous, as you can tell when you see one that's been dried out. A lot of woody fibers in there when they get bigger. Question 4. John Dillerman has an extremely long penis, which is fully prehensile and gets him into all kinds of wacky situations. I don't know if you've seen the trailer. It kind of went viral this week. He's just like an old time. He's got like mustachioed. He's like claymation, wearing the red and white candy striped full body swimming costume, and he's got like a 30-foot penis that's just like he can use it like another limb. He like plays tennis against it and all kinds of things. Question 5. The Four Corners Monument encompasses Utah, Colorado, Arizona, and New Mexico. So that means the answer was Wyoming. Wyoming does have a 3-way meeting point with Utah and Colorado to the north. The monument also marks the boundary between the territories of the Navajo and the Mountain Ute nations. Okay. Yeah. Oh, well, who knows? Maybe can you imagine? You just next main season comes along and it's the same herd. She's there. Oh, how awkward. So let's have a look at the scoreboard. All right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams in. And scores ranging from 4 points to 1. No one got a goose egg. No one scored perfectly. Van Gogh's with a 1-point lead. Congrats, Van Goghs. Long time. They're here every week, and the loyalty has paid off. Aloha, mate. And sorry, can I just see the scores again for a second? Aloha, mate, and The Simpsons tied in second place. And then everyone else kind of within a point of each other, bringing up the rear. But it's all very close. This early stage in the game, we've still got a lot of rounds to play. And without further ado, let's see the next one. Okay, so we've got round 2 menu misnomers. So in this round, I'm going to give you the names of 5 different foods with a place name in the name. And it's a Welsh rabbit kind of situation. So if you've heard Welsh rabbit or Welsh rabbit, it can be either way it can be spelled. It's not got anything to do with rabbit, it's cheese on toast. So these are foods where the place name changes it from one food into something else. So you've got to tell me what this food really is. All right, so let's give you the first one to see what I mean. So number 1, what is an Irish apricot? Is that a name for rosehip, a potato, or a duck egg? Rosehip, potato, or duck egg? Nope, sponges are made from sea sponges. Loofahs are made from the fruit of a type of squash called a loofah. If you have a loofah in your bathroom and you look at the cross section, it kind of looks like looking at a cross section of a cucumber or a zucchini. They're very closely related. Okay, so is an Irish apricot a rosehip, a potato, or a duck egg? Question 2, Cape Cod turkey. What does Cape Cod turkey refer to? Is it saltfish? Is it lobster? Or is it clams? Which of those foods can be called Cape Cod turkey? Question 3, Scotch woodcock. What is the dish Scotch woodcock? Is it scrambled eggs and anchovies on toast? Is it a spicy chicken gizzard sausage? Or is it pigeon with a glass of whiskey? So that's a Scotch woodcock. All right. And question 4, what are Rocky Mountain oysters? Are they zebra mussels or zebra mussels, as you might call them? Are they morel mushrooms or are they bull testicles? Rocky Mountain oysters. Zebra mussels, morel mushrooms, or bull testicle? And finally, Texas caviar. What is Texas caviar? What does that refer to? Is it salted peanuts, bean salad, or chili? Which of those foods is referred to as Texas caviar? Okay, that's all 5. Anyone need any of those repeated? Let me know in the chat. Oh, yeah. Just in case you doubted, I know it seems hard to believe. You really assume got to be the same as a sponge, but no, there's a ripe one and there's a dried out one. can see where the seeds would have been. You shake the seeds out. Once you leave them to dry out, all the flesh falls away. Most of the flesh turns into these woody fibers, and you see those holes running down the middle where you'd get the seeds of a cucumber. You shake the seeds out once it's dry. All right. What's some region? I know we've got people from all over in. We've obviously got we love our Dutch teams. That's quite a Dutch following, it seems, and we've got people from all over the UK and Canada and the US. But yeah, what's the regional, like something that's just from your city or your state? What's the regional speciality? I'm from London, and I'm from East London. I'm not technically from what would historically be considered the East End, but I'm from East London. So I still lay claim to jelly deals as part of my cultural heritage. I don't think I've ever eaten jelly deals though. But there is one of the old, classic, tiled walls, marble counter, pie and mash shops, just right where I am, right down the road from where I grew up, and they do them. So I'd walk past it going to the primary school every day and see the jelly deals just there, because there's a little window you can buy the jelly deals from if you want them to go. So Michigan, if my knowledge is right for like local cuisine, it would be coney dogs for you guys, right? I think everyone's in. So we'll run through the answers, and we can talk more about regional cuisine specialities later if we like. Number one, an Irish apricot. So along with Irish apple, Irish lemon, Irish fruit, Irish grape, and Irish football, Irish apricot is one of many, many slang terms for potato that invoke Ireland. Question two. Cape Cod is famous for its seafood and its fishing industry, and Cape Cod turkey refers to its namesake, cod, once it's been salted and preserved. Question three. Woodcocks are small wading birds known as the king of game birds for their rich and gamey flavor. However, Scotch woodcock doesn't contain any woodcock. It's a dish of scrambled eggs and either anchovy paste or anchovies on toast. So, Welsh rabbit is cheese on toast. Scotch woodcock, a bit more complicated. Question four, Rocky Mountain oysters. It's a euphemistic name for bull testicles, often pounded, breaded, and fried. And last one, Texas caviar, also known as cowboy caviar. It's a salad of black-eyed peas in a vinaigrette dressing, usually also containing onion, pepper, and tomato. It was created in Texas in the mid-20th century by Helen Corbett, a New Yorker. So it's Texas-ish. All right. So let's see how the scores are after that round. Yeah, I have to say, Shane, I feel like these slang terms were not used so much by the Irish as by the Tans and the Yanks, taking the piss out of the Irish. And so the Van Goghs now share the lead with Aloha Mate, 6 points each. Then we've got three teams on 5. We've got the Simpsons and also on 5. Dumb and Dumber on 3. Cat Flaps, and we are late. Okay, so Cat Flaps had a tough one on the food round, and a late team joining us, tied with Cat Flaps. Is there a difference between Texas caviar and cowboy caviar? I thought they were more or less the same, but I will take it from a genuine American if I'm mistaken. Let's have a look at round 3. Famous last words. So I'm going to give you the last words of some historical figures, some more famous than others. And then there's going to be a blank in the last words, and you just got to fill in the blank. Don't worry, it's multiple choice. Obviously, people can say all kinds of crazy things on their deathbeds, so we're not leaving you totally in the dark. I'm going to start off with the playwright Anton Chekhov. Before dying of tuberculosis, said, "It's a long time since I blank." So what was it a long time since he had done it? Is it drank champagne, made confession, or saw my mother? Tatty. Have them with neeps. So it's a long time since I drank champagne, it's a long time since I made confession, or it's a long time since I saw my mother. Next up, we have Thomas J. Grasso, who was executed for 2 murder charges in 1995. He used his last words to complain about his final meal. He said, "I did not get my blank. I got spaghetti. I want the press to know this." So, what didn't he get? He didn't get his macaroni, he didn't get his steak, or he didn't get his spaghettios. Last words, the third. General John Sedgwick at the Battle of Spotsylvania Courthouse in the Civil War, immediately before being killed by enemy fire, said they couldn't hit blank at this distance. Was it a barn door, an elephant, or a dirigible? So ironic choice of words there. Next up, we have the French thinker Voltaire. So Voltaire, to the priest giving his final blessing, said, "This is not the time to blank." Was it make new enemies, form new habits, or tempt fate? So make new enemies, form new habits, or tempt fate. What was it not the time to do on Voltaire's deathbed? And our last set of last words, the last words. We've got the French poet Paul Claudel on his deathbed asked his doctor, "Doctor, do you think it could have been the blank?" So is that blank consumption, plague, or sausage? All right. So does anyone need any of those repeated? You should have the things that go in the blanks visible, but in case you can't remember what the context for it was, I can repeat any of them for you if you need to hear any of those again. Or Jessica can just scroll through them on the screen below me in the ticker. Like, obviously, plenty of everyone dies, so there's a lot of people to choose from. But it's researching this round. A lot of these, I have to think, is that really the last thing they said? That's the last thing they wanted recorded, but for sure there was some babbling happening towards the end, you'd think. It's actually really difficult to find well testified, like this is actually what they said last words. This guy, Claudel, this was a hard one to find any like definitive proof this is what he said. So a lot of them are a little bit on the anecdotal side, but all the ones I chose, there's at least no contradictory anecdotes. So there's only one story out there at the very least. But yeah, there are some public figures. Obviously, everyone wants them to have said something incredibly witty. And so you'll see like 3 or 4 different quotes attested to being the last words of all the same guy. All right, so I think we're just waiting on one team now. Maybe I should start planning my last words. You know, not that I think I'm going to need them anytime soon, but if I want to be up there on that historical level of good last words, I think you need to run through a few drafts first. Or at least a good epitaph. Okay, guys, let's hit submit if you haven't yet, or if you need anything repeated, let me know, because I think it's just the one team we're waiting on. So in the chat, if you need anything repeated, I can repeat it. Otherwise, smash that submit button. Okay, guys, that's the old 30-second timer. We're going to have to move on. So if you haven't hit submit yet, I'm afraid your scores won't be counted for this round. That's Team Dumb and Dumber. Which team is that? I don't know. I don't know who in the chat is. If you've hit submit, then we'll have them. But I just don't know who in the chat corresponds to which team in the score table. So I think just Team Dumb and Dumber. Don't know if you're there, but we're going to have to go on to the answers now. So that's not you, is it, Ashley, Team Dumb and Dumber? If you hit submit and it says click here for round 4, then maybe Jessica could contact you directly. Yeah, we'll just double check, because if you are Dumb and Dumber, okay, we'll just double check with the score collection then. You can see Jessica's in the chat, so she should be able to help with that. I'm just going to check with her if she can. Yeah, okay, we can move on to the answers. I think Jessica's sorting it. All right, so first up, we had Chekhov dying of tuberculosis. It's a long time since I drank champagne. And then he drank some champagne, so not a bad way to go. Then after that, we had Thomas J. Grasso. His last meal was not just spaghetti. He had 24 steamed mussels, 24 steamed clams flavored with a wedge of lemon, a double cheeseburger from Burger King, a half dozen barbecued spare ribs, 2 strawberry milkshakes, half of a pumpkin pie with whipped cream, diced strawberries, and he requested a can of SpaghettiOs with meatballs. But he, as according to his last words, he didn't get SpaghettiOs, he got spaghetti and meatballs, which obviously that meal is ruined now if you get spaghetti instead of SpaghettiOs. Okay. Yeah, just got the answers. Fantastic. All right. Then the next one was elephant. Yes. So missing word. They couldn't hit an elephant at this distance. So Cedric was killed while berating his men for flinching at the sound of fire from Confederate marksmen about 1,000 yards away. To be fair to him, that would be an incredibly lucky shot with the firearms at the time. They probably weren't aiming at him, just general firing in the direction of the Union soldiers. But yeah, as a general, Cedric was the highest ranking Union casualty of the Civil War. Next up, to a priest who asked the famously non-religious Voltaire to repudiate the devil before his passing, Voltaire instead chose diplomacy, saying, "This is not the time to make new enemies." And finally, Claudel, the poet, he's reported to have asked his doctor whether a sausage was responsible for his illness before passing away. But don't feel too bad for him. Apparently, he was a real dick. He had his sister committed to an institution for decades, even though doctors tried to convince him that there was nothing wrong with her. So I think we got all the team's answers there in the end, thank goodness. And let's have a look at the scoreboards. And the Van Gogh's back in the lead there. 10 points. Old Curiosity Shop making a bit of a surge in that round up into second place. And then we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4-way tie in third place with Aloha Mate, Local Celebrity, We Are Late, and The Simpsons. All right, so still a very tight field, very close together. We're going to move on to round 4. This is our last round before the intermission. And it's take a closer look. So pretty simple one this time. It's a picture round, and we're going to show you 5 really, 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 really zoomed in, very close looks at 5 different things. And you're going to guess what they are. So you have to tell us what it is that we have zoomed in on in the pictures. So let's see the first one. All right, that's really zoomed in. But what is it really zoomed in on? Take a guess. So this one's a type your answer in. There's no multiple choice on this one. All right, let's see picture number 2. So we've got another very zoomed in picture. Guess what it is? And type your answer. So I think with this one, the picture should be in the form. So we should only need to show these on stream once. Let's see the next one, number 3. All right, so same deal here. Have a look at the picture and try and guess what it is. It's a lot more zoomed in than you might normally see these objects. And picture number 4. All right, so what's that? It's very zoomed in. I don't want to repeat myself too much. It's a pretty simple round in terms of being on my end. Not a lot to explain. Obviously, a bit more difficult on your end. And we'll have a look at the last one. And there we go. Picture number 5. So look for telltale clues, textures, shapes, shadows, anything that might clue you in to what that could be. But all of those are in your sheets. Now, these type your answers in rounds can sometimes take a second longer to grade than usual. So we're going to have a little 2-minute intermission so you can obviously these are a bit of a thinker as well. So Jessica actually chose the pictures for these, and she tested them out on me. And some of them are thinkers. You can really, if you really think about it, try and work it out. Sometimes it will just click after a few seconds. So I'm going to give you your 2 minute interval to, if you haven't decided what you're going to write for it yet, you can take a second to think about it. Go make yourself a cup of tea, and wow, that yeah, go to the bathroom, look after the baby, anything you need to do. I've just seen why the submission error happened on the last one, and it is a doozy. Our form, our form collector thing works on hundredths of a second, and apparently 2 teams submitted the answers in the same hundredth of a second, which caused it to have an error. Obviously that's not something that's going to happen too often. But yeah, we did find those answers in the end. All right, so yeah, I'm going to stop bothering you while you're trying to figure out these pictures, give you a short interval, and I'll see you in about 2 minutes. All right, I think most teams are in now. How was everyone's interval? Did you walk the dogs, Vanko? Still, is that enough time? So yeah, get those submitted if you haven't yet. Some people are going with their similar incorrect answers, which I always find interesting. I like to see the thought processes. Okay, still waiting on one team. Hopefully, we haven't had another 100th of a second coincidence. Okay, everyone's in. Great job. So let's show the little pictures and the big pictures. So first we saw, looks like could be a towel maybe. It's pink and lots of little bits. Zoom out. It's a tongue. A dog's tongue specifically. You didn't have to say it was a dog's tongue, just tongue is all that was needed to get the point there. All right, let's see picture number 2. Another textured thing there. It's a basketball, those little bumps. Oh, nothing. I just before the Matthias joked about walking the dog during the interval. Just wanted to see if you got that dog walked. Let's have a look at picture number 3. And some kind of demon jelly bean, or is it, in fact, a caterpillar? And I think we had a team right, lava, which we accepted as well because the caterpillar is a larva of a butterfly. So technically correct, that's kind of correct. All right, then we've got something kind of hairy. A lot of people guessed my beard for this one. All right, and let's have a look. It was a kiwi. Little scranky little hairs. Jessica eats them with the skin on. How can you do that after seeing that close up? And last one. Okay, there's an angle, kind of pinky in color. First time Jessica showed me this, I was like, is it like pink salt? Then you see there's a little blue bit in the bottom there that gives the game away. It's a pencil. So yeah, congrats to everyone who got any of those. It's tougher than it looks. The old zoomed in picture round. Oh blimey. It's always tempting to go with the joke answer, isn't it? Then you're leaving points on the boards. All right, so Jessica was working overtime with all the picture control there, so we'll give her a second to get the scoreboard up to date. I didn't see all your answers, so what were some of your funnier guesses? I think it would have to be pencil for pencil. I think there's too many things that could be made out of wood. Yeah, so let's just give Jessica another second to get that totted up with all those pictures. It's a lot of work for her. But please keep your team names the same, guys. Otherwise, it's tricky to keep track of who's who. Who else guessed beard? Jessica said at least 2 teams guessed beard. Okay, let's see the. So these are preliminary. These are subject to change. Dolphin skin. Oh, that's a good one. Those pink. It does kind of look like one of those pink river dolphins, and the ridge. They do have kind of a ridge on them, don't they? Van Gogh's widening the lead there. 12 points, and oh my gosh, look behind him. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 teams on 9, and another team on 8. So very like densely clustered behind the Van Goghs, who are kind of getting out to a nice lead. Now, as I said, those are subject to change because that's a difficult round to tot up all the scores for. But yeah, we'll take a double check them after one of the easier rounds. But we can move on to round 5 now. So in this round, you're going to have the same grid, 3x3 grid of different pop culture bears, different like famous bears. And I'm going to give you 5 questions, and you just have to choose which bear applies to each one. So that means there will be 4 bears unused. So of these 9 bears, 4 of them are decoy answers, and 5 of them will be answers to these questions. Saffron on the table. Yeah, I can see that with the little fibers. They are kind of saffron-like in color, that orangey hue. But let's get on with these bear questions. So you can see you've got your 9 bears there. Question 1. This bear also serves as the mascot for a chain of family campgrounds in the US and Canada. So this bear also serves as the mascot for a chain of family campgrounds in the US and Canada. Okay, question 2. This bear is the father of Jessie, Huckleberry, and Marmaduke. This bear is the father of Jessie, Huckleberry, and Marmaduke. Question 3. During his military enlistment, this bear was stationed in Italy and rose to the rank of corporal. During his military enlistment, this bear was stationed in Italy and rose to the rank of corporal. That one's question 3. Question 4. This bear appeared on WWE Raw in 2011, running afoul of Vicky Guerrero, Dolph Ziggler, and Jack Swagger. So question 4, which bear appeared on WWE Raw in 2011? And question 5, our final bear. This bear has variously been portrayed as a sloth bear, a black bear, and a brown bear. So this bear has variously been portrayed as a sloth bear, a black bear, and a brown bear. So try to avoid the decoys. This is a picture round. So when we have picture entries, sometimes you will be prompted to just complete a capture at the when you're after you hit submit. Don't know why it does that on the picture rounds and not the other rounds, but don't worry, it's not broken or anything. Just have to. Sometimes it just gets you to do the tick. Sometimes it asks you to like choose the traffic lights or the parking meters or whatever. But yeah, that's a thing we're aware of. It's not broken, and it should still submit your answers fine if you complete the capture. So we've got 9, a field of 9. You have to choose the correct 5. Does anyone need to hear any of those again? Or they're scrolling through on the screen, but just in case. 1 and 2. So number 1, this bear also serves as the mascot for a chain of family campgrounds in the US and Canada. And question 2, this bear is the father of Jessie, Huckleberry, and Marmaduke. That one is my typo. I wrote the bear instead of this bear, but it's this bear is the father of Jessie, Huckleberry, and Marmaduke. So, question from Dumb and Dumber. Like you screwed it up. Like you just after you hit submit, you realize like, oh dang it. Oh, can you choose more than one? Oh, I see. Right. So you've chosen one, and then so I can run through them again. So now you're on 2. So I'm just going to read through them all again. Yeah. So you choose. So for number 1, you choose that one and you hit next. Sorry, I should have explained it a bit clearer for our first time at quizzes. So if you're still on question 1, you can hit back if you hit next to make sure you're on 1. So number 1 was this bear also serves as the mascot for a chain of family campgrounds in the US and Canada. So select your bear of choice and then hit next. And then question 2, this bear is the father of Jessie, Huckleberry, and Marmaduke. So then you select your bear and hit next. Obviously, it works a little differently to some of the other from the last picture round we had. So sorry for not explaining. I know we've got some new teams in. Question 3. During his military enlistment, this bear was stationed in Italy and rose to the rank of corporal. Question 4. This bear appeared on WWE Raw in 2011, running afoul of Vicky Guerrero, Dolph Ziggler, and Jack Swagger. And finally, question 5. This bear has variously been portrayed as a sloth bear, a black bear, and a brown bear. It won't let you select a different answer for number 4. You want to switch your bear. Let me have a look. Have you maybe try tapping it again on the one you've chosen? I think you might have to unselect it before it will let you select a new one. We use a lot of different types of input, so I can't remember. I know there are some of them where if you want to change your answer, you have to unselect what you currently have selected. So give that a go. If that still doesn't work, let me know. But that hopefully that will have solved that issue as well. Okay, right, yeah. So just keep on tapping away until it works. But yeah, let me know if you get it to work or if not. Oh, well. Yeah, let's give it a second. Maybe it just takes. Sometimes it takes a second to catch up. But yeah, try to get it just the one you want to answer before you hit submit. I think yeah, I don't know what it is actually, to be honest. Yeah, Jessica's going to have a look. So she was able to double check the previous round's answers while I was reading the questions. She works fast. So hopefully she'll be able to figure out there's anything in particular causing this to happen. You can remember, well, if you need the questions repeated, we can repeat any of them that you need. And you should be able to find a link directly to this round. If the form's just like given up and you want to close and just start again on this round without having to like go through all the inputs of the previous rounds, you should be able to find a link to that on our website. So regular viewers will know that we're based in Romania. So we live in Bucharest. It's in the south of Romania. Wallachia is the historical region. But when we first moved here, we did take a trip up to Transylvania. So Sylvania means forest. So it's the forested region of Romania. And we went bear watching there. It was a lot of fun. I know we've got some Midwesterners in, so that's bear country. You ever see any bears out and about? Jessica's from like in the woods. So yeah, bears were nothing new to her. But for me, we don't have any large animals in the UK. It was pretty exciting. Okay, and Jessica has put a direct link to the form if you want to try and get back in. It's a pretty cool country, I gotta say. Lots of cool folklore stuff. Obviously, everyone knows about vampires, but they've got a lot of cool stuff like that. Food's cool, the scenery. You've got the Black Sea, you've got the mountains. Yeah, this lockdown is tough. I think all the teams are in now, so I think we got that little snafu with the form. I think it was only affecting one person, so I'm not sure. Maybe it's just loaded weird in your phone or whatever device you're using. But let's run through the answers. So first up, it's Yogi Bear has been the mascot of Jellystone Park. So that's the chain of campsites. Since it was founded in Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin in 1969. So got to get some Wisconsin representation in every so often for Jessica. Then question 2, Jesse, Huckleberry, and Marmaduke are the 3 children of Bear Grylls and his wife Shara. Yeah, those are the names of human children. Question 3, Wojtek was an Iranian brown bear adopted by a Polish artillery battalion during the Second World War. He was officially enlisted when the unit was assigned to Italy, as the British transport ship that was to carry them had regulations forbidding pets. He was known for stories of him hauling ammunition and his love of beer and cigarettes. He ate the cigarettes. Question 4, Fozzie Bear appeared backstage on WWE Raw alongside Gonzo, who came off the worst in a tangle with the aforementioned wrestlers. And question 5, most of Rudyard Kipling's knowledge of Indian wildlife came from the writing of naturalist Robert Armitage Sterndale, who used the Hindi word balu to refer to several species of bear. Aside from color, Kipling's description is most consistent with sloth bears, but he has also been portrayed as an Indian black bear and a Himalayan brown bear. Okay, so I think Jessica's found what might have been causing some of those submission issues. Yeah, sometimes if you've opened the link in like a messenger and it opens it in, oh, see, Well, you got to bear in mind that I'm trying to trick you. So you got a spot when I've done the double. Yes. Yeah, and you wouldn't expect that he has a kid called Marmaduke either. But yeah, there's a little note there from Jessica in the chat. If people are still having trouble with the forms, that should help. And we're going to have a look at the scoreboard after this because I think everyone did manage to get in. Correct 5 pairs, but in the wrong places. Oh boy. And holy moly, Van Gogh's storming. They've got a 4-point lead, 16 points. It's really their week. Aloha Mate and The Old Curiosity Shop on 11, and Local Celebrity and We Are Late on 10. So that cluster of 4 still staying close together. The Simpsons right behind as well. But yeah, the Van Goghs had an almost perfect round, just one wrong there. But yes, any of those 4 teams, 5 teams in the peloton behind, I think, can still make a run in these last 3 rounds. Oh well, no offense to people who do like the name Marmaduke. I guess you could just go by Duke, right? That's not going to draw too much attention. Okay, so question 5. Sorry, we just did that. Round 6. So round 6 is gone in a flash. This one's a bit of a nostalgia one for 90s kids. So for those of us that remember the early days of the internet, Adobe Flash was kind of a very important aspect in terms of games and movies. I'm so glad you said almost, because if I just if you had a kid called Marmaduke and I was saying that, I would feel mortified. Yeah, so we've got so for those of you that don't know, Flash stopped being supported completely this year. So I think when it ticks over to January 1st, no more Flash. So they stopped they stopped practically supporting it like a decade ago. It's been a slow death for Flash, but yeah, finally it's all over this year. So to memorialize Flash, we've got a few questions from the glory days of Adobe Flash. Some of this is going to be kind of a mixed input round. So some are type in the answer, some are multiple choice, some are choose the picture. The first question, popular Flash game Line Rider developed a devoted following of players who made complex courses synchronized to songs and even entire albums. So Line Rider, in case you don't remember, it's the one where you've got a little guy in a toboggan and you just draw lines to make a course for him to slide down. So perhaps the most famous example of these very complex courses synchronized to music is the clip that we're about to play you.
A few moments later.
All right, so the question there is, what is the piece of music that the course is set to? Is it Dance of the Nights from Romeo and Juliet by Sergei Prokofiev? Is it The Ride of the Valkyries by Richard Wagner? Is it In the Hall of the Mountain King by Edvard Grieg? Or is it Mars, the Bringer of War from the Planet Suite by Gustav Holst? So what was the song we just heard? Okay, question 2, we've got a picture. You might recognize this game. This was a popular browser-based Flash game back in the day. What is the 4-letter name of this game, taken from the keys which control the runner's leg muscles? All right, question 3 is about the popular web cartoon made in Adobe Flash, Homestar Runner. You're going to see 4 pictures there. Just tell me which of those characters is Bubs from Homestar Runner. So you can see them there in the form. Which of those 4 characters is Bubs? Okay, next one is in another classic Flash cartoon, but definitely a different vibe. In David Firth's creepy classic Flash animation series, Salad Fingers, what does Hubert Cumberdale taste like? Is it rusty spoons, sunshine dust, soot and poo, or red water? So which of those does Hubert Cumberdale taste like? It's the guy from Sherlock, right? And the last one is another type in the answer question. So the viral Flash short, The End of the World, also sometimes called The End of the World, predicted the world's nuclear powers going to war and causing Armageddon. What was Australia's reaction? So this is a little 90-second cartoon, was super viral in the early 2000s. I think most of us are of an age. What was Australia's reaction to global nuclear war in that short? So, if you were a child who went outside and had friends, this might be a tough round for you. Or if you're way too young to remember all of this stuff. What were your favorite Flash games, Flash cartoons? Did you play Flash games? I mean, as soon as you had, like, anytime you had computer lessons in school, you tried to get to, like, all the Flash game sites, right? Before your school's, like, IT teacher figured out how to block them. It was actually really impressive, some of the stuff they could do in Adobe Flash. And I think for animation as well, if you ever watch those old Homestar Runners and stuff, like, they had all these Easter eggs you could click on. Mushroom! Oh man, I totally forgot about all the Weeble stuff. Mushroom, 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 mushroom. That was a good one. Oh no, badger, 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 and then mushroom, mushroom. Oh, in that case, is that the same thing as Mushroom Revolution? Badger, 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 badger. It's a long story how we ended up in Romania. But basically, we were living in South Korea. Me and Jessica were both working as English teachers. She's American, I'm British. It's expensive and difficult to move to either of our home countries. I'd have to get a green card, she'd have to get a spousal visa. And at the time, by far the easiest option was moving to the EU. This was pre-Brexit. And Romania was just somewhere that appealed to us and worked out for us in terms of a lot of different things. It's lovely. We've been here like 4 years now almost. Bloody hell. Where does the time go? Oh yeah. Well, there are a few that I couldn't remember if they were from the Flash days or like early video days. And there was a lot of overlap. A lot of the Flash stuff got like really low quality uploads to early video hosting sites like Ultimate Showdown. Yeah, the other main purpose of the internet in those days. Well, still today. Flash is gone, but the porn's still there. Oh, cool. Yes, we had friends who moved on to Taiwan after Korea, and some who'd been there before Korea. I really love to. We haven't been to Taiwan, but I really want to go because I really like what I've tried of Taiwanese food, which is mostly guabao, but I want to eat more guabao. All right, so I think we are waiting on one or two more teams. So, does anyone need any of the questions repeated? No, everyone's in. Just got word. All right, so we'll run through the answers and see who remembers that little 2 or 3 year period in the early 2000s on the internet particularly well. So, first of all, the piece of music that we heard in that clip was Grieg's "In the Hall of the Mountain King," perhaps best known to British contestants around my age as the Alton Towers music. Then we saw the running simulator that was called QWOP, QWOP, after the keys used to individually control the runner's calf and thigh muscles. Developer Bennett Foddy continued in the same limited controls, extremely difficult vein with his much streamed game Getting Over It, in which the player has to navigate a man in a cauldron over a mountain filled with obstacles by swinging a sledgehammer. Then we've got number 3, Homestar Runner. Bubs is the blue-headed guy with like the orange top who operates the concession stand. Also pictured were Homestar's best friend Pom Pom, who speaks in bubble noises, Coach Z, who's some kind of non-specific sports coach and aspiring rapper, and the King of Town, who is the King of Town. Number 4 was about Salad Fingers. Salad Fingers likes the feel of rusty spoons against his salad fingers. When he touches a rusty nail, he likes it when the red water comes out. And of his finger puppet friends, Marjorie Stewart Baxter tastes like sunshine dust, but Hubert Cumberdale tastes like soot and poo. So the answer there, soot and poo. And finally, in response to total global nuclear annihilation.
Meanwhile, Australia is down there like, WCF, mates.
Oh, I think. Give us a second. Stream just broke up right as we were playing a 2-second clip, so we'll play it again.
Meanwhile, Australia is down there like, WCF, mates.
WTF, mate. Definitely just ingrained in my brain from just being played a lot around that very plastic-brained time of life. So let's see the scores after that one. Okay, so Van Gogh's maintaining the 4-point lead. Aloha Mate in second place with 14. The Old Curiosity Shop, half a point back on 13.5. They've kind of pulled away from the peloton, who are all there clustered on 11, 10, and 8. So all pretty close together in the middle. and then a couple of teams bringing up the rear. But it does seem like the Van Goghs have a pretty commanding lead going into the last couple of rounds. But still 2 rounds to go, 10 points. People can catch up if the Van Goghs take their foot off the gas. So, seeing stars. This round is pretty simple. We're going to show you 5 constellations, and you have to match them to the name of the constellation. So, with each picture, there's a little drop-down menu. It's going to be the same 5 ones available each time. Three in the last round, 1, 4, and 5. Jessica will double check that one while we're doing this round. Or maybe during the last round, because she's going to be busy with putting pictures on the screen during this one. But we will double check that before the final scores, don't worry. Okay, so let's have a look at the first constellation. All right. So you've got your little drop-down menu. 5 constellations, 5 constellation names, just match them together. So this one's number 1. The names that you can choose from: Cassiopeia, Big Dipper / the Plow, Orion, Leo, and the Southern Cross. All right, let's have a look at the second constellation. So same thing, similar to the zoomed in round. There's not a ton for me to say here. And we'll have a look at the third picture. And these pictures are in the form as well, so you can kind of think about it at your leisure once we've cycled through them all here on the stream. We'll have a look at the fourth one. Kind of dim, you can make it out there. And finally, so that's our 5th constellation. So take a second to think about that. Been kind of an astrological time with the, I mean, obviously the meteor showers come around every year, but then there was the conjunction about a month ago. We don't get to see any of it here. It's always cloudy this time of year in Romania, fully overcast. We actually had a week of sun just around the new year, and now it's gone back to being fully overcast again. Has anyone else gotten snow? I know a lot of Europe got snow. We had snow last night. But it does mean we never get to see any cool stuff. We never see stars. It's all right in the summer. We get a lot of clear nights in the summer. What about star signs? Obviously, all the star signs are constellation based. Any horoscope believers in? Or even if you don't, if you're not fully bought in, anyone that like reads them just for fun. No Simpsons based constellations were included in our quiz. Yeah, Jessica's of a mind with you, I think. She's from the upper Midwest as well, and she hates when it snows here. Just a lifetime of snow trauma. Okay, I think we're still waiting on a couple of teams. Get snow in Ireland. Snow in Spain. We got it here in Romania. So Southern Europe's getting Spain. Southern Europe's getting snow, and Northern Europe ain't. That's weird. And there's the light pollution as well, right? We live in a big city, so even when it is clear, we can see like the bright stars and Mars and that. It would be nice to get somewhere a bit more out of the way. Still in Scotland. Oh, we've got a team in Scotland. Nice, nice. What about Germany? I think we've got a team in Germany in as well. All right. So I think everybody is in. I think Jessica will see and address any questions in the chat. But I'm going to go through the answers now. So the first one we saw was Orion. So one of the easier constellations to locate for an amateur stargazer due to the brightness and proximity of each of the stars that make up Orion's belt. I know certainly for me, this is the easiest one to find in the sky. And also it was in Men in Black. Then after that, we saw no snow in Limburg. Okay, so Jessica can see your numbers 4, but there's just an error returning it to you where it says this is what you selected. So don't worry, your answers were submitted. Telescope, oh lovely. Did you get a keyboard recently? You're getting all the cool hobby stuff. All right, then next we saw the Big Dipper, probably the only constellation even more widely known than Orion or Orion's belt. So Big Dipper in the US, known as the Plough in the UK. Is that a Commonwealth thing? Canadians and Irish in the chat, let me know. Do you say Big Dipper or the Plough? So although it's one of the most widely recognized constellations, the International Astronomical Union does not recognize it as an official constellation, as it is actually about a third of the official constellation Ursa Major. So constellations are not allowed to overlap. So it's a folk constellation. Despite this, the non-official sub-constellation is what appears on the state flag of Alaska, alongside the North Star. Then the third one we saw was the Southern Cross. So move over the Plough / Big Dipper, forget state flags. This constellation blows all others out of the water by appearing on a total of 5 national flags. That's Brazil, Australia, New Zealand, Samoa, and Papua New Guinea all have the Southern Cross on their flag. All right, then number 4 was the telltale W shape of Cassiopeia, named after the beautiful mythological queen whose punishment for her vanity was to be chained in the heavens by the gods. And finally, we showed you Leo, one of the earliest constellations to be recognized. So just about every ancient civilization from the Mediterranean to India called it lion in their local languages. Also, I am a Leo. Okie dokie. So let's see the scores after that. Plough, I had a feeling Ireland would be going Plough as well. The flag is in this 1916 Rising, so it could have made it to a national flag. So close. All right, and Van Gogh's, I think, pretty much unassailable going into this final round. Technically, the Old Curiosity Shop is only 4.5 points back. So A perfect round for Old Curiosity Shop and a goose egg for Van Goghs would give it to Old Curiosity Shop by half a point. Have to say, based on the very strong performance by the Van Gogh so far tonight, that seems unlikely. But well done, everyone. Let's see how everyone finishes up. We'll see what the final standings are for everyone else, at least. You can mathematically, you can still lose. Let's see if you can manage it. Well, tiebreaker would be difficult. We'd have to be giving out half points, and I don't think there's really any half-pointy type questions in this last round. All right. Yeah, I mean everyone can still win a moral victory. That's for sure. So let's get on to the last round, general knowledge. I tell you, we went 6 or 7 weeks with tiebreakers or like 1 point differences every week, and then sometimes you get a week like this where someone just blows it out the water. Okay, so round 8, general knowledge. Which of these 90s TV shows does not have a reboot or reunion currently airing or in development? I will say yet, because they rebooting everything from the 90s. But yeah, is it Sex and the City, Saved by the Bell, Walker, Texas Ranger, or Dawson's Creek? Which of those does not currently have a reboot or reunion airing or in development? You say you miss it, but do you? Those are traumatic. Then, question 2. Australia recently changed one word in the national anthem to acknowledge Aboriginal Australian history. The phrase Australia young and free was changed to what? Is it A, fair and free, B, young and old, C, one and free, or D, wide and free? Question 3. Which country has the greatest proportion of vegetarians in the world? Is it Switzerland, India, Vietnam, or Ethiopia? Well, Jay and Silent Bob got a sequel recently, didn't they? Or was that years ago? I can't keep track. And then question 4. The Wright brothers' first powered flight reached a speed of 26 knots. What's that in miles per hour? Is it about 30 miles per hour, about 40 miles per hour, about 50 miles per hour, or about 60 miles per hour? And finally, question 5. On the set of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, Daniel Radcliffe found that he was allergic to what? Was it his prosthetic scar, his wizard hat, his glasses, or his owl? Owl. Prosthetic scar, wizard hat, glasses, or owl? Which one was Daniel Radcliffe allergic to? And that's it. That's the last question of the evening. So if anyone needs anything repeated from that last round, let me know. Just because I double checked all the previous rounds. Thanks for coming tonight, guys. While we're waiting for everyone to submit their answers for this last round, I'm going to take the chance to plug our newsletter, our weekly lanyard. So if you enjoy trivia, which you probably do if you're here, when we're writing these quizzes, we often find bits and pieces that are interesting that we can't quite work into a question. So we have a little weekly newsletter that goes out that just little tidbits, little fun facts, just a little bit of trivia in the week each week. Just a little bit of fluff, a little bit of junk food for the brain. I wouldn't say junk foods, but I would say it's a full meal worth of education. It's fun facts, stuff that could come up in trivia's that you might take part in throughout the world, but just that we didn't feel really fit our format for the week or whatever. So you can find that there'll be a link when we finish submitting, and you go to the scoreboard, and there's a link there. Below the scoreboard, there's a link to join the newsletter, and also it'll get you updated about future quizzes and stuff like that. This week's trivia was this week's lanyap was about moon rabbits. And we're still waiting on one or two teams. So let's boop, 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 submit. Everybody is in. Fantastic. So let's have a look at the answers before we see the final scoreboards. So first up, it's surprisingly difficult to find 90s TV shows that 90s TV shows that aren't getting reboots or reunions, but the creator of Dawson Creek has ruled out a return for the series. So it does seem pretty definitive that show won't be coming back. Question 2. The amended Australian anthem replaced the word young with one to remove the implication that Australian history began with the arrival of European colonizers, and also to emphasize unity. Australia one and free. Then question 3. Although all the countries mentioned have pretty high rates of vegetarianism, nowhere comes close to India, where about 1 in 3 people abstain from meat. Then question 4, the Wright Flyer reached a top speed of around 30 miles per hour. Ohio wouldn't introduce speed limits till 5 years later, but when they were introduced, they were set an even more sedate 20 miles per hour. So the Wright Flyer, I guess speed limits don't apply to it. It flew pretty low, I think. And question 5, once filming on Harry Potter had begun, Radcliffe, who is not short-sighted himself, found that he had an allergic reaction to the nickel in the metal frames of his prop glasses. So he was allergic to his glasses. And with that, let's take a final look at the scoreboard, and we'll see where everyone placed. So at the bottom there, we've got Dumb and Dumber. Right above them, Cat Flaps. Then The Simpsons. We Are Late. Local Celebrity and Aloha Mate tied on 19 for third place. The Old Curiosity Shop in second with 22.5 points. But the Van Goghs with a convincing victory of 26 points. Fantastic job. Played an absolute blinder there, guys. Well done. Thanks for playing, everyone. Thanks for coming. It was a tough one this week. We had some tricky rounds in there, but a lot of fun was had. All right. Nice to see some new teams as well. Let us know what you thought. Hope to see you again. If you enjoyed it, tell your friends. Sign up for the newsletter, so on. Lots of things you can do. Subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. All these streams get uploaded, plus we are trying to also convert them into kind of more bite-sized little one-round videos. All right, so thanks a lot, guys. First win of the year for the Van Goghs. And yeah, hope to see you back here again in the future. Yes, lovely to have you in. All right, see you later, guys. Bye-bye.
I will let